Hello. Welcome to everyone in the United States and around the world. This is Love, Truth, and Peace. I'm your host, Dr. Melody Harris Barrow, coming to you live from Miami. Today's broadcast, this show was created to equip nations and people with the knowledge and tools they need to improve, create, build, prosper, and change their environment so that they can effectively lead to a better future. Today's topic, business opportunities in Panama. And to discuss, I would like to introduce our special guest, Yolani Alvarado, President of Pro Panama. How are you, Alvarado? How are you, my
Hello.
sister?
Hello, my friend, Dr. Melida Harris. I'm very happy and pleased to be joining you today in your program and talking about one of the things makes makes me the happiest about my beautiful and wonderful country, Panama. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you. We have been friends for a long time, doing wonderful things for Panama, promoting Panama to the world. So today, finally, we're coming together in order to speak now about the opportunities in Panama. Welcome, everyone from around the world, my African brothers and sisters around the world. This is a show for you. Why? Because there's a lot of opportunities in Central America and you're not taking that opportunity. So today we are going to discuss not only about the opportunities, but we're going to show you Panama. Most of you have never traveled to this region. And from now on, I am going to do different shows for different countries talking about the business opportunities in Costa Rica, in Panama, in Guatemala, Nicaragua. It is time now for us to begin to communicate in the business world. And thank you, Yolani, for joining us. And I know you have been doing great things with Pro Panama. And not to waste any time, let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the business opportunities in our country. And you can start from whatever section you may want to start. So go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. Well, first of all, Panama is located in Central America. We're the narrowest section of the whole continent, and we're very popular for our Panama Canal. Now, besides the Panama Canal, the country is offering plenty of opportunities, and especially now after COVID, after the pandemic, many things have been bubbling up in order to the government has also make sure to bubble up stuff and make some laws in order to improve the foreign investments in our country. So there are several areas in which there are opportunities. We have opportunities right now in the energy area. For example, we have eolic parks in existence, and there are some eolic parks that are going to be built in the future. And we are also into the renewable energy sources procedures in order to make Panama a country that is nature friendly. So that's a very important topic that it's nowadays being taken in consideration when someone wants to invest, especially invest in a country which is so rich in nature as in Panama.
That's
Of
right.
course, yeah, of course, because of the Panama Canal and the hub of the Americas, we have an airport which is called Tocumen, and Tocumen is considered the air hub of the Americas because the hub provides services to over 80 cities in the world, including
Mhm.
Europe. Now we have reached to China, and we have also direct flights to Turkey. So there are a lot of things going on in our air hub that are highlighting Panama as the place that you should be in order to make business. So you can easily fly from whichever part of the world with one to top three scales in order to reach our country. It's a very
Right.
safe country as well, and it's full of amazing opportunities right now. We also have, for example, I know that you will be addressing it in a later part of the show, but we also have the Cologne Free Trade Zone. That is not the only free trade zone; is one of the most important ones in the country and in the whole continent. But it's not the only one. We have now several options in order for you to consider different positions within the country where you would like to establish an operation which would be um, free trade in a free
Yeah.
trade environment.
Right. And also, we have the ports in Panama. I'll show them the pictures. These are the ports that we have in Panama. One of the things that I believe this one is in the colon free zone, I believe.
Correct.
Yes, yes. I want us to, since you brought up the colon free zone, I would like for us to talk about that because it's very important to many, especially in Africa. Businessmen and women don't know about the Cologne Free Trade Zone, and it is the largest, second largest free zone in the world. I believe Hong Kong is the first, but Panama is the second largest free zone in the world. And anytime I present this, and I'm in Africa and I present this, they don't know. The Cologne Free Trade Zone was created in 1948, and many don't know. And most of these businesses are involved with the exporting and importing industry, having warehouses, factories, and repackaging various products. A semi-independent governmental agency, which is the Cologne Free Trade Zone, granting operational permits and leasing space to those visiting and want to do business in Panama. So let's kind of dip into talking more about the free zones and the benefits that the free zone has to offer. I know for a fact that there's no import duties and only a 5% dividend tax, zero tax on income derived from export activities, and zero tariff and quotas on imports and exports to foreign countries. What are the other things that, oh, and before we go into the Cologne Free Zone, I want to make it clear to all of you that we have three trade zones, and one is the Cologne Free Trade Zone, Panama Pacifico, and I believe what was the other one? Um, City of Knowledge tax benefits also, and that's something that we don't talk about much. So, can you expand on that just a little bit about when your companies that you're working with outside of the country, are they always interested in the free zone, or what response do you get, Yolani?
Well, Melida, um, it is true that the Cologne Free Trade Zone is it's very important to do business in Panama, but not only to do business in Panama, but to do business in the whole continent, because you know how easy it is to bring
Yeah,
your raw materials or your imports and put them inside a free zone and then distribute all of this merchandise to whichever other country in Americas or including Asia. Many companies have set operations in the colon free zone and in the country because Panama is a very small country. So one free trade zone is not far from the other. The Colon Free Trade Zone is located in the Atlantic area, but we also have free trade zones in the Pacific area. But the distance between the Pacific and the Atlantic is very close. You can drive from
right,
the Pacific area towards the Atlantic area, and you will be there in an hour or less. So
right,
that's part of the beauty of the system and the
yeah,
logistic system that has been in place in order to promote international movement of merchandise through Panama. So not only it's important to the country, but it's also important to the region. You can put your stuff in a free trade zone,
Mhm.
free zone in free trade zone or the Panama Pacifico or any other free trade zone. There are several ones and there are new ones that are being in place and that are being created. And you
Right.
can distribute your merchandise to Colombia, Ecuador, all Central America, the United States, Canada, you name it, Chile,
Yes.
Brazil,
The
you name
world.
it. So
The
and
world.
and and it will enter the country, it will enter Panama to the free zone where it will not pay import taxes. So
Yes.
basically what you will only be paying is the management of the merchandise itself, the container, the shipment, and so on and so forth, but not the import that will be required to pay in if you want to
Right.
this to unload the merchandise in another place which is not a free trade zone. And there's no limit of time for you to have your merchandise in these areas. You can
Right.
have it there and get the stock there and distribute
Mhm.
according to the demand of your clients. So
Right.
it's a beauty.
Yes,
besides
it
that
is. Mm-hmm.
besides that Panama has in place a law that provides legal stability and tax stability for companies that are setting up in Panama for up to 10 years. So if you open business now, say 2020,
Right.
you will be guaranteed by the Panamanian government that the rules in which you started your business are going to keep the same for you for the next 10 years. So which other
Mhm.
country provides such stability
Yeah.
in an ever-changing world? And
Yes.
for ever-changing, I cannot emphasize it enough, right? Because right
Yes.
now we are in a situation in which no one who would have ever thought that we were going to be. And
In
still
this
like that,
situation.
the government will not change and will not be able to change the
Yes.
rules for the companies that have established and that are still in
Yes.
the space of time in which they are guaranteed for 10 years the
Mhm.
laws and the tax regulations for them. So that's still in place today for every company that wants to do business in Panama.
Yes, and I just want to mention some of the tax exemptions on with the free zone, colon free zone, and that's the tax exemption on imports, re-exports, and manufacturing of goods, tax exemption on re-export incomes, on invoicing, on other national or provincial taxes. Remember the use of the US dollars as legal currency in Panama, low cost on the rent of land, building, or any required spaces. So these are the benefits that and I want to mention this to my African brothers and sisters in Africa, because there is not one business on the Kalan free zone, not one. And that's because you're not aware. Now, even with the Panama Pacifico special economic zone, they also, the Panama Pacifico special economic has so many hectares of land. And they require being engaged in one of these industries, which is call centers, offshore services, a bank
Back
office,
office services, correct.
yes, yes, aviation services. And also they have tax benefits, which is import duties, income taxes, stamp taxes, international phone call taxes. And I'm mentioning these because I want all of you to see and know that there are great advantages in Panama. For example, the real estate transfer tax, the real estate property tax, licensing tax, export, re-export, all these benefits we have also in the Panama Pacifico. And I do want to mention the City of Knowledge, because the City of Knowledge, which we call Ciudad del Saber, Special Economic Zone, is a scientific, technological, and entrepreneurial park. But the types of businesses allowed include scientific, technological, human development, and cultural. City of Knowledge also have quite a few benefits that a lot of people don't know, even the people in Panama, which is import duties, exemptions for all vehicles, equipments, machinery, furniture, and any company operations materials. And they also
Also,
have exemptions.
Melida, I'm sorry to
Mhm.
interrupt you, but also
Yes,
it's important
yes,
that you know that these special areas also have in
yes,
place special immigration laws for the people
yes,
who invest in
also.
this special economic area. So
Exactly,
when you're planning of
exactly.
doing business and maybe moving over, you and your family moving over to Panama, you will get special immigration services and special work
Visa.
permits as well.
Yes, yes. All of that is included, and most people are not aware of these benefits in Panama. This is why we have you on the show, and we are going to do great things together. We already made an agreement that Yolani and Pro Panama is going to work with our chamber. She's going to be a partner of the Sixth Region Global Chamber of Commerce, which we need each other because when we start traveling to Africa, when those doors are open, I think they're open now, we will be able to take a team. The Sixth Region Global Chamber of Commerce is they're taking a team. We're taking a team with us, and Yolani Alvarado is going to be a part of that team, so we can present all these great opportunities that we have in Panama. What about the residency and the real estate in Panama, Yolani? Tell us about that.
Well, Panama has in place over 20 residency programs. Some of them are for a temporal time.
Yes.
There, some of them
Mhm.
are temporary. Some other are for permanent residency. So you choose which one you like. When you invest in one of those special economic areas, they have in place special laws that guarantee the investor that will get residency for the main applicant and for the dependents, the wife,
Mhm.
the spouse, and the children that are up to 25 years old, as long as they prove that they depend economically to of the main applicant. And
Mhm.
if you are not setting up your business in a special economic area, it doesn't matter because there are other residency programs that provide temporary or permanent residency, depending on what you're looking for. So you be
Mhm.
in our country in a legal status, and you get a work permit in order to develop um, the economic operation that you would like to do. So, um, one of the most popular programs is called the Friendly Nations Program. This is a fast track program where a person with the citizenship of 40 of one out of 48 countries will be granted permanent residency, just fulfilling three main requirements: having a passport from one of these 48 nations, which are called the friendly nations, opening a bank account of $5,000 only, and those $5,000 belong to the applicant. They are not sequestered, and they are not given to the government.
That's right.
Um, they belong to the applicant, and showing some sort of link with the country that could be done by setting up a Panamanian corporation, which are they are very cheap. To be honest with you, they are very economic compared to other corporations around the area. And just by fulfilling those three requirements,
Mhm.
the person can file for a permanent residency. Now, if
Right.
you happen not to be a citizen of one of these 48 friendly nations, then you can
Mhm.
always invest in reforestation, and you can always invest in real estate, in apartments, or beach houses, second
Mhm.
residencies. There
Mhm.
is a special treatment towards the retired people.
Mhm.
Panama has in place one of the best retiree programs for people who are no longer working, might come and retire in Panama, where we have a very low cost living um, schedule.
Mhm.
And you can invest also in real estate, $300,000. It's compared to the area is very, very competitive. The amount of $300,000 invested either in a fixed deposit or in real estate, and you can get residency as well for you and for your family, including
Mhm.
your kids and your parents, because Panama allows applicants to include the parents of the applicant
Right.
in the application form.
Yes, yes, very good. Let's switch over now because I know a lot of people are watching and they're saying, wow, I didn't know about all of this. And those of you that are watching, I would love for you to share this video right now to your friends because we have a lot more information to share. And this is information is not just for you. This information is for everyone. So go ahead and start sharing this information because we are coming strong. The Sixth Region Global Chamber of Commerce that I founded and that we're getting ready to start very soon. These are the type of things that we're going to be talking about. These are the type of information that most of the entrepreneurs need but don't have. So we're going to provide this information. This is not the first time we're going to have Alvarado, Yolani on our show, but we're going to have many more from Panama coming on our show to talk about business opportunities in Panama. Let's talk about the offshore banking. Can we talk about that?
Sure, absolutely.
Let's
Panama
go.
Panama has one of the top banking systems in the area.
Yes.
We have over 90 banks with general licensing that offer their products to either Panamanians or foreign investors that want to live and invest in Panama. In
Mhm.
Panama, when you open a bank account, you that bank account and their interest are not income taxable. So you don't pay income tax for the interest nor the money that you have in a bank account. You can
Mhm.
open a bank account with up to $1,000 if you want.
Yes.
There is for foreigners is from $1,000 and up. And if you prove the bank that you're going to be doing commercial and business operations with the bank account, they can even provide you with e-commerce and online uh, e-commerce, of course, and online banking. Most of banks manage both languages, Spanish and English, and all of the online banking is set up in both languages, Spanish and English.
Mhm.
E-commerce is being provided, and now with the pandemic, many banks have understood that
Right.
that is the route to go. So you
Yes.
can set up a business, open a bank account, and get
Mhm.
on e-commerce, everything with one single bank and in
Yes.
less than 2 months.
Yes. That's
So
wonderful. Now I
it's
know.
yeah, it's wonderful.
Right. I know. I love. I work very closely with Banco General, and one of the things that I love because I'm still in real estate in Panama, and one thing that I love, Eduardo Oliveira, he helped me a lot years ago, and I was able to establish a relationship with Banco General. And one of the good things about it is that those that want to purchase a home in Panama, whether they're Panamanians or foreigners, one of the good things is that they use the credit. For example, if you're living in the United States, that's the credit information that they will use. And we could get that information for them. They don't even have to arrive to Panama. We was able to get that information for them. And once they're approved, then we will begin to do the paperwork. I have serviced so many those foreigners and Panamanians that wanted to purchase a home in Panama, and they didn't even have to travel to Panama. They gave me
Correct.
power of attorney. We picked the home, and I did all the transactions. These are great incentives in Panama that we have. Also, tourism. There are some great incentives for those that want to start their business in tourism. Are you informed about that, Yolani, those incentives? Or,
Yes,
yes?
Actually, yes, there is a law in
Right.
place and it will be updated. Just day before yesterday, I had a meeting with the investors, with the director of investments of the tourism authority, and she was telling me that they are going to update the tourism law, but the benefits are going to stay the same. So if
Okay.
you are in the tourism industry, there are tax breaks applicable for you. So there
Right.
are special import taxes. Some of
Mhm.
the all of the material and the equipment that is related to the tourism activity itself will not be paying import taxes, and you will be subject to special tax breaks. Before I
Right.
forget, Melida, now that you mentioned about offshore banking, we have been
Yes.
able also to provide assistance to our foreign investors so they can be interviewed online. So you don't have to fly to Panama. If you allow us
Exactly.
to help us, you wouldn't have to fly to Panama in order for us to help you set up and open your bank account and have your signature registered as the only signature with power of with power of and mandatory
Yes.
specifications within the bank
Right.
account. So that's very important. And also, you as a foreigner might be subject to credit. You will be able to get a mortgage. Even if you are a foreigner, you will be able to get a mortgage in Panama if you buy real estate here.
Right. Right.
Now,
Right.
going back, and I'm sorry, I just switched the subject, but now
That's
going back to
okay.
the tourism, I just didn't want to miss it.
Yes.
Uh, Regarding the tourism activity, yes, it has been incentivized for several years now. The
Yes.
law will be updated, but none of the benefits will be changed. On the other hand, the government is considering making broaden them, making them a little bit more extensive, the tax breaks and the
Yes.
benefits for the
Mhm.
tourism industry. That nowadays it's been very hit with the pandemia.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
idea. Those are the plans for the
Yes.
tourism here in our country.
Exactly. Now, Mr. Edson is asking, what are those nations that you are referring to? We handle all nations. Is that correct, Yolandi?
We have
In
48
Panama?
nations.
Yes.
I have 48 nations that can their citizens can file for this fast track program, right? So
Mhm.
I will be able to provide you with the list, but I can tell you so far there are nations from from Europe, like France, Belgium, the United Kingdom. There are nations from America, United States, Canada,
Mhm.
um, and
What about Africa? What about Africa, Yolani?
I think I can check with you. I think
Yes.
there are couple of countries, but
I think
I
South
can get back to you
Africa.
on that one.
Yeah, I think South
I will
Africa. We
South
have an
Africa, South
embassy.
Africa. Yes, correct,
Yes, we have an
correct.
embassy
South
in South
Africa is
Africa.
one of those countries.
Yes, there's
Yes.
not many, and that's something that we have to change because the Sixth Region Global Chamber of Commerce, we're going to be working closely in Africa, and we have to change that because we are now going to connect Africa throughout the diaspora and vice versa, and we have to have them doing business also in Panama. So we will have to speak to the government to open those doors in order for us to do business also. And for Panama, because I spoke to quite a few officials in Panama, and they want to do business in Nigeria and in Ghana and all these different places. So we have to open the doors in order for all of us to start doing business in Panama, Latin America, and the Caribbean. One of the things I want to mention also is to the continent, the fact that there's a lot of business that you are doing. And I want to mention that all these businesses exports, when you're exporting products from Africa, you can do that from the free zone. The shipment takes a long time, but at the same time, you can open an office at the Cologne Trade Free Zone and start doing business from there, and then you will be able to export your products throughout that region. So there's a lot of opportunities that Panama has to offer that they're not aware of. And we have to make that change, especially now after COVID, well, during COVID, because this is the time now that we have to bring these businesses throughout. We have to start exchanging products and
Correct.
trade, because what it
Correct.
is that a lot of Latin America countries don't know, but Africa are doing more importing than exporting, and that has to change in Africa. So we have products. I just received some information the other day. They need Africa wants to export cocoa, cashews, and many other products. We have a list of products that they want to export, and vice versa. So communication like this is very important in order for us now to begin this revolution of trading, revolution of exporting, revolution of communicating, not just in European country, not just in China, but also on the continent. So these are great things that's coming. Now, what is it that you know about the Panama Canal, that the business opportunities there? It might not be much, but let's kind of touch on that, because the Panama Canal was expanded in order to bring larger ships to Panama. So can you touch bases on that? Can you touch on that?
Sure, absolutely. The Panama Canal, as you just mentioned, was expanded a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
it has been successfully been managed by Panamanian officers since the year 2000. The Panama Canal moves over 3 million
Yes,
TEUs. So that's
right.
a lot of merchandise going on from one side of the ocean, from the Atlantic side towards the Pacific. The Panama Canal has also is backed up by the dry canal, which is the
Right.
railroad, right? So you can
Yes.
also move shipments via the railroad to from one port towards another. the
Mm-hmm.
the possibilities of doing business around this amount of merchandise are super big. You can
Yeah.
think about it and do numbers and run numbers and think about how many things can you do with the potential of a Panama Canal that is moving so much
That,
merchandise in
that,
Panama, and not only in Panama, but also there's merchandise that's going through it from one place or from one continent towards the other side of another continent. So
yeah.
yes, there are plenty of opportunities over there, and it's open for business. And even with the pandemic, it's been working, and it's been
Working.
still on business. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Also, I just had this question the other day, and I want you to touch bases on it. There are people, Panamanians, that are shipping, whether it's products, whether they're moving back to Panama, they're retired. Is there any incentives? Because I know retirees moving from the United States to Panama, I think at a certain age they don't pay taxes. Do you know of that?
Actually, Melida is not only limited to American citizens. It has no
No,
limitations.
To Panamanians living in the United States, moving to back home.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
You have, but not only for Panamanians. That's what I mean to say. You
Ah,
can be
okay,
from any part of any part of the world. Any part of the
yes,
world. It's not only valid for Panamanians who are returning and retiring in Panama. It's also valid for Americans. It's valid for Africans. It's valid for Europeans.
yes,
Anyone who fulfills the criteria of being a retiree will be able to um, take advantage of these tax breaks. So you can
yes,
bring in your domestic households and
mhm,
a vehicle, which would be import tax, which will not
right,
be import taxed by the import. So you will
right,
not have to be paying import taxes if you show that you have your retiree status in Panama.
mhm,
Panama's law for retirees, for foreign retirees especially, is very, very good. It's been rated one of the best
mhm,
um, retiree programs around the world. And
Yes.
when we have not been number one, we have been in the top three. So
Right.
on top of that, you add the fact that every single a person that is 55 years old if they are women, or 62 years old if they are a man, get special breaks, tax breaks in services, in the tax service. They will get exempted as long as they have that age. It doesn't matter from which nationality they are.
You're from, yes. I'm gonna tell you something. I love the fact that when I come home, and I go to a restaurant and I present my ID, I'm 55 and older. I'm 60 now, so when I present that ID and I get my tax cut, and
Discount,
you
yeah.
get a discount. For that, you get a discount for medicine, you get a discount for traveling. And this is not just Panamanians, but these are foreigners that have moved to Panama, and these are all the benefits that they have. So this is why Panama once was the number one destination to retire. And I am going to
Exactly.
tell you, there's a lot of great benefits. One of the things that I like also, when my mother moved to Panama, that was like 23 years ago. And those that are moving back to Panama, I don't know if it changed, but they were able to still purchase insurance, health insurance, at that age, which is something that's very difficult to do here in the United States. So there's a lot of great incentives in Panama, especially for retirement, to start your business. There's so many great things, and many are not aware of these great incentives in Panama. Well, I want to thank you so much, Alvarado, for bringing all this information to us here in from Panama. And how has it been since the COVID? I just have to ask that last question. How are you doing in
Well,
Panama?
fortunately, so far so good, but we as a country have had one of the toughest lockdowns in the continent, or I would say in the world. Just last week, certain operations, commercial activities were allowed to be performed, but they had been closed for over 6 months.
Yes,
Just now, by October the 12th, the airport, the international airport, is going to be open for international flights. So
right.
the international airport in Panama is still closed up to
Mhm,
October the 12th. By
mhm.
October the 12th, we expect to have the hotels opened. So as you can see, we have had a very, very tough lockdown here, and it
Yes,
has affected the not only the health but also the economy of our
right.
country. So
Mhm.
now that we're finally seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, we are eager to do business more than ever. So we're more
Exactly.
than happy to
Yes,
welcome our foreign investors and our brothers from all over the world, and especially from Africa, from the Caribbean, from the United States, from all over the world, who would like to come and do business here in Panama. We
yes.
certainly are offering very, very good incentives, and we have a
Mhm.
great, safe country that is welcoming international investors.
Exactly. I want to mention that all of you that are watching this show, pass this show on, because these are great information, especially Panamanians abroad. There's a lot of great incentives in your country that you can benefit from, that you're not benefiting from what's going on. So I have been doing business in Panama for many, many years, I believe since 2003. I moved back home, and I've done the real estate, the trucking business, tourism. I've done it all, and I'm still there. Now, this is the biggest thing I've ever done, and that is to start a global chamber of commerce, to bring businesses, and connecting Africa and the diaspora. And that's what it's about, bringing information, because it's about the information. If you don't have the information, you're not able to do business in the world. And oftentimes I will say this, and I will say it again. In Africa, most of the time, you are not familiar with this region, and that is the sixth region. You're not familiar with the Caribbean, you're not familiar with Latin America, and we are waiting for you to come and do business, especially here in Panama. And I wanted to share this with you because this I read today, and many of you might know this, but these are the 14 countries with the safest banks in the world. Guess what? Panama is included. And we have Finland, it's 14 of them: Finland, South Africa, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Hong Kong, Norway, Singapore, Chile, Sweden, Panama is the 11th, Luxembourg, Guatemala, and Czech Republic. Imagine, Panama is included. So those of you that want to do business in Panama, you know we have a safe banking system included with the 14th safest banking system in the world. So we are waiting for you. We are prepared and we're ready to do business. Thank you very much, Yolani Alvarado. She's the president of Pro Panama. I am Dr. Melida Harris Barrow. Hope to see you all soon. And we are going to be working with other countries and presenting this same forum in order for you to begin to do business in the world. Thank you. And thank you, Alvarado.